So basically, in this video, we're going to learn how to apply facial animation to a character. So as you can see with our character here, he's fully rigged and the controls are already set and ready to go. So another thing, you could set controls to the face to have, more independent control of the face in terms of facial animation, or there is another tool that Maya offers, which is the Blend Shapes tool, which I'm going to show you today. So with the blend shapes, basically, right here we have our character with our neutral face. So maybe we want him to smile, to laugh, or change in sense of that deformation. So we are going to use blend shapes to do that. So we're going to open our outliner and we're going to find our character's mesh. So he should be hidden under our model 01. We open that and there's our character. His name is Victor, so that's what we're going to use. We're just going to use his face, not the rest of his clothing, because we're only dealing with his face. So basically you would start off by duplicating his mesh. So you hit Control D, duplicate his mesh, and right now it's locked, and that's because the character is skinned, so they want to prevent you from moving that mesh. So we hit Translate XYZ and we just hit Unlock Selected, so that gives us the ability to move our character to the side. So now, since we're only dealing with the face itself, we don't need the head or the shoes or any of those other meshes there. So we'll just go into our parent for our actual mesh and we'll delete what's inside there. So we just have the character's actual skin mesh that we're dealing with. So basically, this is basically your template. Here you can do whatever types of animation you want to the face. So for example, if we wanted our character to smile, we would click on our face mesh, and what I use is the soft modification tool, which you just simply hit B to access. So we can go to our vertex for it, and then we can go to, select different vertices, and this gives us opportunity to control or to deform the face to whatever shape we want it to take. So right now, if we wanted our character to smile, we can also use the edge tool. I'll just select certain vertices. You can easily do that. Use our scale tool, probably stretch it a bit. You can do different things with the character and move the face around, something like that. I can take some vertices there. So you use all the time you want or you need in order to play around with the mesh and get to the actual shape that you prefer or best represents the character's personality. So you can do that as well. So right now, like if it's a smile, you would need to kind of, select those areas and kind of push it upward to get that, that smile look and feel. So that's a weird looking smile, but you get the point. So you take that time, create like the basic emotions, the expressions for your character's face, and basically it's very important that you don't change the topology of your face, and you just gently, translate it over to the side, and be sure not to freeze any transformation. So if it's 8.725, leave it as that. Don't freeze anything. Just make sure that the only thing that you're adjusting is the deformation of the face. You're not adding any more polygons, you're not inserting any more edge loops. You're simply translating from one side to another side, and you're changing the topology by moving things around using the soft modification tool. So so that you spend time doing that. I already kind of have the deformed mesh that I have, which I'll just show you right now, and that is his happy face. So if you go in closer, I already adjusted his face, which is quite different from his original face. Here in his original face, he's not, smiling that much, pretty neutral, and here is a big smile, cheeks puffed. So now we're going to actually apply the blend shapes. So in order to apply the blend shape, we have our target mesh. This is where we want to apply that blend shape, apply that deformation to. And we have our happy face. So this is our source mesh and our target mesh. So in order to apply it to our target mesh, we first, oh yeah, something's wrong with my computer. But okay, so in order to apply that deformation, onto the original mesh, you first click on the happy mesh that you have. So I have Victor Happy. Then control click, you can also do this in your outliner, control click on your target mesh, which is Victor. So right now, if you go to the animation tab, which I'm already in, you go to create deformers, you go to blend shapes, and you click on the little box on the right here. That will give you your options. So with a blend shape node here, you would write what that node is, what that deformation you're transforming your target mesh to would be in terms of control and influence. Right now it's Victor Happy, so I'm just going to write the same thing I have there. So that's what I get for Victor Happy. It's always important an important reminder to always reset your settings. And I'll explain that in a bit. When you reset your settings, what happens here is your deformation order, if you click in the advanced tab, is set to front of chain. So that allows you, well, during animation, if you move your body, if you're controlling your body, you're moving around, rotating your body, that the deformation of your face, that blend shape follows with. If it's, for example, if the deformation order is set to default, there might be some issues when you wanna, if you rotate your head and then you wanna make, deform your face to that happy expression, there might be an offset. So it's always important to edit, reset settings, and make sure that the deformation is set to front of chain. Back to the basic. There's an issue there too. Yeah, Victor Happy. The envelope is set to 1. The origin should be local, and check topology should be checked there. So easily you go there and you can do create. So now you have applied that blend shapes to your actual character. So now if you click on the mesh for your character and you scroll all the way down in your channel box, you will have there are other nodes there, but the one that I wanted to point you to is Victor Happy, I guess in this case 2. That's what we created right now. So if you click on Victor Happy, which is here, our influence is set to 0, so there's no influence on the actual face itself. But if we click there and we middle mouse on the screen and drag it all the way to 1, you can see the influence is taking place. So there you go, from no smile to a big smile. And it's also quite important that when you're doing your different meshes, when you're deforming your meshes, you want to make sure that the expressions that you're creating are quite exaggerated, so you have control of how big a smile you want when you're applying your blend shape. So we'll set that back to 0 right there. So as you can see, I had to click on the mesh itself in order to access my blend shapes. So in future, when you're animating, we want to avoid having to deal with the mesh too much. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to apply that control to our head control, where everything's in head, and makes sense that we apply it there. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an attribute. Right here I have attributes that are created, but I'm just going to show you how it's done. So you understand the process. So we click on our control for our head, go to edit, add attribute. So we're going to name it the same thing we named for our blend shapes. We're going to call it Victor Happy. Make sure that it's keyable because we want to be able to animate. Its data type is set to float. For the minimum maximum, because we're dealing with the influences, we're going to set it the same thing as the blend shape, 0 for no influence, 1 for maximum influence. So we click OK. There's an error there because I've already created that attribute, so just for naming sake, we'll just name that 2, and we'll hit OK. So if we scroll all the way down, we have our attribute created, Victor Happy 2. So now that we have it, we want to be able to connect the control that's on the mesh, the blend shapes, and apply it to our head control where our attribute is. So what we'll do is we'll click on our head control, we'll go edit, open up the connection editor, and we see here our Victor Happy 2, that attribute that we've created. We then go back to our characters mesh, we click on that, and we scroll down to where we created our blend shape, Victor Happy 2. We click on that, and then we reload this on the right. So what we're doing is we're creating connection between Victor Happy 2 from our blend shapes to our head control, where we created our attribute here, Victor Happy 2. So we're applying it from we're creating that connection where the main control for that happy expression will be controlled using our head control and not from our mesh. So that's how we're going to apply it. So first we would click on the Victor Happy 2 from our head control. That's the first we're clicking. So we're saying this is going to be our main attribute, and we're going to obtain the those in terms of we're going to obtain variables and values. Where we're going to obtain those values from, those in terms of characteristics and such. We're going to obtain it from our blend node, our blend shapes node, excuse me. So if you open up Victor Happy 2, you open up the weight. That's our Victor Happy here. We've already clicked here on the Victor Happy 2 attribute, and all we need to do is click here from our blend shapes, and now we've established that connection. So now everything is going to be controlled using our head control, not from our mesh. So we just close that. So now if we go click on our head control and we scroll down to Victor Happy 2, click on that, and we scroll on our main window, now you can see, now everything is being controlled from our head control using that attribute. So we no longer need to click on our mesh to control that happy expression or that happy pose, if you say. So now that's done. In order to clean up your file, because let's say later down the road when you're actually in the animation phase and you animate your character and you realize that smile is not big enough, it needs to be bigger or it needs to be tweaked or something like that, you need to keep this mesh here, because if you delete it, you have no ability to make any modifications. So there is a way to keep it and not have it viewable. Here I have, if you go to the outliner, is the blend shapes. So this is where you can keep all your blend shape meshes, everything pertaining to blend shapes. You can put it in this group. So we'll take our Victor Happy mesh right here, middle mouse it, drop it in our blend shapes 01. So if we click on our blend shapes 01, right now we can still see the mesh on the screen, but we don't want to have to see it. So we can easily just set that to off. So we'll type in 0, press enter. Now our mesh is set to off. So we can still animate, so you can always go back to your head control, animate it, go to Victor Happy 2, no issues. And you don't need to, and you can rotate your head as well and apply that happiness. There's no offset in terms of the deformation, so that's really good. And basically, yeah, so everything is set. So I would say I would actually recommend keep all your blend shapes in this group folder, make it invisible. If there's a particular time during the animation that you think maybe the character's expression needs to be changed or tweaked a bit, you can always open that up, make that back to the visible here, set it back to 1, now it's back on, and you can always go back here to this character's face and just for say I'll actually make those changes. Let's say we wanted his mouth to be a bit hollow. We can a bit weird, it's a bit twisty. If we wanted to make his cheeks not so puffy, we can actually do that immediately. And okay, so now we have a character not so puffy, his cheeks are a bit flat. Then if we go back here to our main mesh and we have that influence over set to 1, which I've already done, you can see right here, I don't have a comparison to show you to, but you can see right here that his cheeks are not as puffy. So that's a nice way of actually going if you wanted to, change it up a bit, but make sure that you have the best possible so you don't have to do it. So make sure you have those facial expressions set, they're exaggerated to a point so you have control in the different levels of deformation you want to apply. So you want to make sure that you have the best possible blend shape or the best possible facial expression you have. So you don't have to always keep on going to this group to make those changes, but it is there for an option. So once everything is complete, you can do as many faces or as many deformations as you want, and once that's done, you put them in the group here and you turn the visibility off, and then you're ready to go, and you just work with this one character. And like I said, we don't want to have to deal with the mesh, so typically in the animation you would have this layer locked, and all you would be dealing with are the different controls. So with this control, you can actually control the face, without having to click on the mesh to do that. So that's, hopefully I've explained that to the best of my ability without talking too fast or too slow. I apologize for any pop-ups that may have happened during this video. We'll probably need to redo this again for the future use. But that's it.